Good afternoon. I'm Onisa Klein here at the GBTA broadcast studio. And with me this afternoon is Jon Gray, who is the principal at Rockport Analytics. Jon, welcome.
Hi, Onisa. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you back.
Wonderful to be back.
I understand that your session earlier went really well and was well attended, so congratulations. So GBTA and Rockport Analytics has produced the Business Travel Index, or BTI as we know it, for years. And I understand this is the 15th edition, right?
Yeah,
Is that right?
Can you believe it? 15th, yeah.
15th.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, a lot's happened in 15.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So what are the key takeaways from this year's BTI in terms of global business travel spending? What are you seeing? What's kind of the key summary here?
I mean, there's a lot to dig into. It's about a 80-page report that comes off of the analysis that we do. But, you know, one of the first things that we found, one of the most interesting findings, was how quickly the industry is recovering. So we were expecting, when we did our forecast last year, to hit about $933 billion in global business travel spending in 2022. And we found we actually surpassed $1 trillion. So
Wow.
we made a lot of progress in terms of the recovery. So that equates to about a 50% growth rate from 2021 to 2022.
Excellent.
So that was key. And we continue to see acceleration in business travel activity this year. And our projection has actually been moved up. We're expecting a full recovery to $1.4 trillion, which was the amount that was spent globally on business travel prior to the pandemic. We expect that recovery to happen as soon as next year. So
wow. So things really are happening and happening quicker.
they are.
Right?
Now there's a lot of caveats that go along
Correct.
with that forecast, and a lot of risks
Sure.
and a lot of downside, but
Right.
potential. But as of
Overall.
right now, things are progressing very
Good.
well.
Well, that's music to everybody's ears.
Yes.
Can you outline some of the key differences by region? How is recovery looking? Is it relatively consistent across regions, or does it vary? And why, if it does?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely varies. So the good news is, at this point in time, all of our major markets are in recovery mode. So
Good.
we are seeing growth in all
That's good.
markets in 2023. But yeah, some key differences. North America has kind of led the pack in terms of the pace of recovery. And so we expect the globe to recover by 2024, but we think North America will actually hit their pre-pandemic levels of spending as early as this year.
Wow.
Now, Asia Pacific, on the other hand, in particular, when we look at what's happening with the Chinese market, is lagging significantly. So while the rest of the world was really recovering last year, we saw zero COVID policy in China continue to keep things in shutdown
Yeah.
mode. And we actually saw further declines in China last year, which has been a big drag. China's the largest business travel market in the world, even larger than the US. And so when you see a decline in a market like that, it's hard for the globe to
Yeah.
fully recover.
Besides China, what about the rest of the Asia Pacific region?
The rest of Asia Pacific is doing relatively better. But of course, you know, China is such a big driver in that part of the world. When China's not doing anything economically or from a business travel perspective, a lot of those markets are gonna fall behind. But they are doing better. China makes up about 2/3 of the
Sure.
Asia Pacific market. So
They really drive the
yeah,
numbers.
they really drive the numbers.
Yeah.
there.
Okay. So I understand this year's BTI, you guys surveyed about 5,000 business travelers from around the world. What did you learn from the survey? What are some of the key takeaways from this?
Yeah, well, there's really a ton there. We measured that region by region, so we're measuring business traveler intentions, we're measuring their attitudes and their behaviors. And so a lot of it was confirming what we are seeing in our other data analysis and our econometric work that we do around this outlook. But the interesting thing, I think, is some of the key trends that we're seeing from market to market on the ground with how business travel is really shifting. So one of the really difficult things for us, we've got a lot of great historical data and understanding of what drives business travel markets around the world. But as we all know, we are in this so-called new normal of business travel as we recover from the pandemic, right? What are sustainability initiatives doing to business travel in terms of volume and spending, and how are they shifting patterns of business travel activity? We're looking at things like the increase in adding leisure travel, so-called
Right.
bleisure or blended travel,
Right.
to business travel, and how that is kind of shifting these travel patterns and dynamics. And then we're looking at things like the fact that people can work from anywhere now.
Right.
And not all companies are allowing this, but a heck of a lot more companies than were allowing it prior to the pandemic. And so I think something like half of our respondents to our survey actually worked away from home for a greater than 2-week period over the last year. And so that's got a lot of
Interesting,
implications
yeah.
just
Sure.
on travel in general, in terms of where people work and how people work and how that is shifting.
Yep. It gives a whole nother element for travel management to figure out how to manage that, right? How to embrace it, allow it,
Absolutely.
and manage that.
And
So,
what is the right thing for
right,
travel management policy
right.
moving forward?
Yeah. Wow. Well, John, it sounds like some good information, great data coming out of your research, and I look forward to reading it myself. How many pages?
Yeah, it's lengthy, it's
Well,
it's a
thanks
good
for
cure for insomnia.
well, thanks for
Yeah.
sharing the highlights and the key takeaways from it.
Absolutely.
So,
Thanks for
always a
having
pleasure
me.
to see you.
You as well.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Monisa.
I'm Monisa Klein here at the GBTA Broadcast Studio.